Donald Trump's proposed peace plan reportedly suggests Ukraine give up the Donbas region, already held by Russian forces, and drop NATO ambitions in exchange for NATO-like security guarantees. It also calls for freezing front lines in Kherson and Zaporizhia, allowing Russia to keep control without further conflict. The plan mirrors Russia's demands and could legitimize its territorial gains.
I find it concerning because I think Trump's only really representing his own interests, and he talks about the urgency of a deal, and I think he wants to get a deal more than he wants to get a good deal for Zelensky and Ukraine.
NATO-like guarantees may lack full Article 5 protection, and Russia would gain recognition of occupied Ukrainian regions. Also, sanctions would ease, boosting Russia's economic revival, especially through BRICS.
But I'm not sure, Donald Trump agrees kind of with this vision of Russia as an adversary, the vision that obviously the Europeans have and that Ukrainians have. So Donald Trump believes Russia can be a partner. He believes Vladimir Putin is someone he can work with, he can make deals with, maybe business deals or some other deals.
European leaders back Zelensky, stressing peace must be lasting and not a reward for aggression. India has welcomed the Trump-Putin summit and stressed on the importance of dialogue and diplomacy. And President Putin briefed PM Modi and President Lula of Brazil on the Alaska talks. Pragmatically, for Ukraine, peace could revive trade, draw investment, and rebuild its shattered economy, besides giving it plenty of support within Europe and the West. The Economic Brief, DD India.
Well, Prasenjit Basu continues to be with us. Mr. Basu, is there enough economic incentive for Ukraine and Europe in the Trump proposed peace deal?
Well, the main advantage for Ukraine is an end to the war. Ukraine ideally would have not liked to give up any of its territory, but it seems that the front lines will be frozen as part of the deal. Ukraine was looking for security guarantees, and Europe is willing to provide those security guarantees. But how credible they are is still somewhat questionable. So what the U.S. has said is that the U.S. will provide some sort of air support to any troops on the ground that Europe is willing to put in place. Russia has basically said that in any peacekeeping force in Ukraine, Russia and China too must participate. Basically, they're saying a Security Council, the peacekeeping guarantee force, and it appears that Ukraine really has no option. So there will be some sort of solution, I think. We're getting much closer to a solution. The main advantage for Ukraine is an end to the war. The advantage for Russia, of course, is that Russia is likely to re-enter the global system fully and become a partner in negotiations about most global events.
Indeed.
So Russia will come in from the cold relative to where it was during the Biden administration, and the front lines will be frozen, which basically means that about 1/5 of what used to be Ukraine will cease to be Ukraine and will become part of Russia. In some sense, it's not a bad solution for Ukraine, even though it doesn't seem that way at the moment, because the areas that Russia will gain are Russian majority-speaking areas. They are areas where the majority of people speak Russian. They always have voted for pro-Russia parties. And so, in a sense, you'll get a more integral Ukraine where there'll be no significant electoral support for pro-Russia parties, which was always the case in Ukraine between 1990 and the last election.
Mr. Basu, also will Russia, see this as an opportunity? There's trade diversification taking place because of the Trump tariffs, and Russia would see this, as an opportunity for it becoming a major supplier, of oil, rare earths, so many other things that it hasn't been able to do over the last several years. In fact, since Crimea, since it took over Crimea.
Absolutely. I mean, Russia is a major exporter of wheat in normal times. So if Russia returns to the world market, both Russia and Ukraine are significant wheat exporters. Prior to 2022, so in 2021, Russia was the world's biggest wheat exporter. Ukraine was the fifth largest. India can be a wheat exporter if it chooses to, but it generally chooses not to be exporting too much wheat. And the point is, we'll probably see a significant decline in world prices of wheat as a result of any peace deal, because two big suppliers will be back in the market, having been absent for 3.5 years.
Okay, we leave it there. Thank you very much, Mr. Prasenjit Basu. Thank you for joining us from Kolkata and putting that into perspective for us.